Hi everyone, thanks for being with me. I'm going to talk about a subject, like many subjects that I talk about here on my channel, that I don't know anything about. And there'll be some of you in the comment section who'll just dive in and say we know. But I want to talk about defence because it is a topic that is pervading, inundating, if you like, the news media at the moment because of Albanese's trip to China. It seems now, look, I'm not a defence expert. I'm not a hawkish person around defence. I'm a peaceful person and like to see us resolve all our issues diplomatically as opposed to putting out our weapons and shooting each other. So, in this particular discussion, though, I think it's important for us to try and understand what sort of relationships we want to have with other countries. Now, there's much about China that one could disagree with. Well, firstly, I guess one could argue because it's a communist country, we need to disagree with that. That they have human rights violations, which we certainly know about and understand, and they've got an Australian in jail at the moment for life imprisonment. It was death, but that's been commuted to life imprisonment. We know of the injustices that they commit against their own people. We also know that China has the largest middle class of any country in the world, and it's increasing rapidly. We also know that they are a trading partner, an important trading partner. In fact, they are the most important trading partner because we trade at around 25% of our trade is done with China, more so than any other group, any other country. So they are important to us, regardless of their violations. But, I often think, well, America has forever violated international law continually. The CIA has assassinated leaders. They have black sites in which they keep people illegally, unlawfully. They do terrible things, but because they are supposedly a democracy, one wonders about that these days, but because they are, we let them off the hook. And I don't see all that much difference between the way the communists do it versus the Americans, that the communists are probably more overt about it, and the United States are more covert about their illegal behaviours overseas. And in their own country these days, the United States is certainly questionable in terms of arresting and incarcerating immigrants. So, are they the same? Probably. Why don't we get our knickers in a knot more often over the way the Americans behave, and why do we just focus on the Chinese? So, given all of that, a lot of the commentary these days is about how it is that we should confront the defence in Australia, what sort of money should be spent on defence. And this has happened ever since Donald Trump, the moron of the decade, has decided that he's going to insist that NATO increase their funding by 2 or 3%, up to 5%, and therefore Australia should do the same. In the meantime, at this particular point in time, we're handing over billions of dollars in regard to AUKUS, and we may never ever see those submarines. So we're wasting our money left, right, and centre. So, but there is a call from Australian politicians, particularly the Liberal Party, to have our funding increase. Now, whenever I hear that, the question that I want to ask you is this. If the government came to you, well, firstly, there is this pie from which we divide our money. Most of it goes to welfare and social security, NDIS, disability insurance, a whole host of things, unemployment, and so on. So, if we have a choice, either we cut welfare benefits to the needy and spend that money on defence. Who would agree with that, and would that be popular? No, it wouldn't be popular. Would you prefer, perhaps, to be taxed more? I certainly think that we should tax the wealthy more than what we do, and corporations more than what we do. But on the whole, would people be prepared to have uh, to have their taxes increased in order to pay for defence? I don't think so. And then, what is this argument about defence really about? Is it because we're so fearful of China? And are those fears justified? At this particular point in time, the most important thing for us to do is focus on trade. Since the Morrison government blew up the relationship that we had with China, and we've had to kind of reinvent that over the last few years, and that our economy depends so much on China, and to some extent China depends on ours in terms of raw materials. What indicators are there? And this is what I find frustrating. What indicators are there that China plans to invade us? China won't even invade Taiwan, which is just a few kilometres off their coastline. So what makes us think that they're going to invade us? In the Pacific region, they have tried to develop some soft power. They even did that to Australia, where during the Liberal Party government, I think it was Tony Abbott's government, they bought the port in Darwin. So, and Chinese come and they buy land and that sort of stuff, and we're trying to legislate against all of that. I get all of that. But where is the evidence that China is attempting or will attempt or even thinking about or contemplating invading Australia? They don't need to. They have everything they want from us. Why invade us? There's what's this thing about having to have a conflict? I think it is often used as a cudgel against a Labor Party, particularly in this case Anthony Albanese. And my gut feeling is that it is without substance at all. So there's this article in on the ABC that I just want to bring your attention to, which talks about this issue. So the Financial Times reported on Saturday that senior US defence official Eldridge Colby, who is leading the Trump administration's review of the AUKUS pact, was pressing Australia and Japan to say what role they would play if the US and China went to war over Taiwan. Mr. Taylor said it was not possible to codify how a conflict might unfold, but you can make those principled commitments as part of an alliance. So, I don't understand what it means to say, well, what are we going to do? We're going to, we have ships in and around China all the time. China, circumnavigates Australia and spies on us. We spy on them. The United States spies on everybody. Pine Gap is used to decipher information and send that to our allies, UK and the United States. We all do it. So it's no big deal. We all do it. I don't understand the problem here. It's like China's the only one doing it. No, they're not. We're all doing it. But the right wing have got their knickers in a knot over all of this. And what sort of conversations is Albo supposed to be having with C? Who knows? But clearly, the media have got a view of all of this, and they're upset.
There we go again. It was not outside international law. And I have to keep asking this question. Why is the Prime Minister always so quick to defend China? Well, the press conference went on, and the Prime Minister seemed to get a little bit testy as well when he was asked anything about any topic that didn't have to do with trade, which is apparently all he wants to talk about.
And the reason why all he wants to talk about trade is that, oh God, is that all that's what he's there for? He's not there to talk about defence or Chinese ships in in international waters off our shore. He's not there to talk about any of that. He's just there to talk about trade. But people like Murrow are too stupid to understand this. And then there is this dude.
The US wants clarity over our position when it comes to Taiwan, but you've got the Prime Minister over there brimming with glee, Ray, you know, trying to figure out how to make steel better for the environment. That's the priority.
Well, I think at best the Prime Minister is a Labor Party hack who's been promoted beyond his station in life. And you see that when he goes on the world stage. You can get away with it here, hail fellow, well met, but when he's got to make a decision on whether he's going to offend our biggest trading partner or offend our most close ally, he can't make up his mind.
And the point is, who gives a shit what Ray Hadley thinks these days anyway, whoever did. But clearly, you know, let's drag him on so he can criticise Albo. And so they continue on, though, nevertheless.
China issued, in accordance with practice, an alert that it would be conducting these activities, including the potential use of live fire. It's outside of Australia's exclusive economic zone. Well, this is activity that has occurred in waters consistent with international law. The notification has occurred.
Nothing to see there, hey? Yet when the Trump administration imposed steel tariffs, much less damaging or punitive than China's trade sanctions against Australia, Albanese was more aggressive.
The administration's tariffs have no basis in logic, and they go against the basis of our two nations partnership.
Okay. So there they're trying to draw this comparison between the tariffs that Trump has imposed upon us and a trade relationship with China. Well, and the fact that they tried to drag into it this notion that China been in our weren't in our waters anyway, but were surveilling Australia. Like, we don't do that to China. Like, get out of here. You're kidding me. So they're trying to criticise Albo at every opportunity. Now, I'm not suggesting for a moment that there isn't a case to criticise Albanese or the Labor government, because there are plenty of opportunities to do that, and I'll be the first one to do it. But what I wanted to focus on in this video is, what is this argument that people want to present around defence? Number one, who's going to pay for it? Number two, is it a real threat? And number three, if there is a threat around Taiwan or an invasion of Taiwan, what is it that Australia could do? And I think the other question around that is, would the United States under Trump get involved in it anyway? Maybe not. So would we be on our own around all of that? Who knows? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Remember to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. Do you think that China is a real threat to Australia, and is focusing on our trade arrangements with China an important thing to do, more important, in fact, than wondering about whether or not they are going to invade us? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. In the meantime, ring the bell for further notifications. So, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.